Hi, hello. Are you planning to do the SCW like I did last March? Then I have you covered. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the map that you can get and you should get. I'm going to give you some tips like pitching spots, resupplying points, and some advice regarding the terrain, for example, or sort of what to expect here and there. I hope you find it helpful. Let's get to it. Let's start with the compass. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that your true north has been adjusted in your compass. It's the thing that you can change down here. Your compass will come with a key, this little thing, and you will use that to adjust the true north. I will link a video description so you know what I'm talking about. Oh, check this out. So in the specific Harvey maps, this is where you have your information to do so. Also check the printed date, I think it was 2017, 2008. You should really take a look at all this information provided by the map, and you should familiarize especially with this. This is what counts the most. You can see the difference in the path. So I would say for the most part, as long as the path isn't reduced to these dots, and here you can see a few of these dots here, the little ones. That's where the path gets really like tough or complicated to follow, inexistent at times. So that's where you're gonna struggle more, and you will have such paths. We will see some later on. So when you see the consistent red mark, this is gonna be a road. So this is the easiest it will get. You're going to start here at Port Patrick. It's going to be a real pain getting here to the starting point. But anyway, yeah, you have your nice views and all. So you just walk here around these cliffs, and the first time I got lost was here, and I ended up coming all the way up here and having to cross through like this and jump into fences. This hike, if you're not used to hiking in Scotland, just for you to know, the way marking is there, but it's just more scarce in comparison to other countries where you may have hiked. In my case, it was especially Switzerland. So I very quickly realized that this route would not allow me to zone out and just keep on hiking. So you have to be on top of your navigation at all times. You need to know where you're heading, and you cannot just zone out or get distracted, because the moment you get distracted, you miss your signpost and then you get lost. You'll find that out pretty soon, I would say. Here we are. After having gotten lost, I don't even know how, but I got lost. Probably I lost, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. So that happened to me over here. That was a little beach, quite pretty, and anyway, just got lost there. So it's pretty straightforward otherwise, just going near, not necessarily near the edge as you can see in the map, but somehow near, just go around the thing. And then when you get to see the lighthouse, you turn east and then you go into Scotland, so to say. There's some wild camping possibility somewhere around here, but obviously unless you arrive at night and you really want to push it and wild camp somewhere over here, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. So usually you'll stay in a hotel somewhere and then start hitting the trail in the morning. In my case, I managed to go all the way to Castle Kennedy. If you zone out here, for example, you're just gonna keep following the road, which goes like this, and then God knows how far you'll get to. So just make sure you are alert. And so here you gotta turn right very sharp. I think there was a sign, I'm not pretty certain about it. Just be careful. But there was like a farm here, so I actually think I passed it. But since you have these marks, I think they refer to this as man-made structures, these dots. So I kind of saw the farm. I was alert. I was sort of expecting it, looking for it. So then I think I walked a bit past it, and I saw the farm. I was like, wait a minute, I think I had to turn before the farm. So yeah, walked back a few meters, and yeah, got it done. So yeah, my first day, I made it all the way to Castle Kennedy, and I camped. All this section is pretty good for wild camping. So one thing to bear in mind is there is a shop here once you pass a little bit the village. There's a shop in a gas station. That's one thing. I really do not recommend you carrying the extra weight of the water. Not even a liter. I would just say half a liter at most as an emergency. But for example, for this first day, I wouldn't even carry half a liter if you plan it well. If you're going to camp here, and this section is perfect for that, as I did actually, obviously you can get to this Strandraer place, and I have marked one here because that's a Lidl, so it's pretty close. You should get your water somewhere, perhaps over here. That'd be a great place. And then you just walk sort of like 4 or 5 kilometers and you camp. This was a very nice spot here by this pond. I think I ended up camping here. There's like a mini forest here. One thing to notice is there is this train track here, so this was beautiful but very close to the train track. I think that's why I moved over here. The trains stopped at around 10 p.m. I don't remember well. It will vary depending on the time of the year that you go, but just keep this train track in mind. And initially I stopped over here, and this was a lot better, and it was away not only from the train tracks but from the road. There's some road traffic here. It gets a bit annoying. So if I were to do it again, I would either push forward or have a nice and easy first day and stay here. This was the best place. It either was here or here. It was very nice. Now, problem if you want to push it forward is that there's no camping opportunities over here, and to be honest, I don't remember any of this, so you have to push it all the way until you get to this forest here. So that's up to you. Usually a nice and easy first day is the way to go to get the body adjusted and everything. So I would camp again somewhere over here. So for my second day, I started over here. So I walked all this, stopped by this gas station shop. I resupplied, but actually I didn't resupply. What I did is I just got some, I don't know, chocolate bar or something, got some water here to make a coffee afterwards. Then you walk by here, there's these gardens, there's the castle is beautiful over here. I have to say it was a bit confusing, so using the OS maps came very handy already over here. So this viewfinder application, whatever you have or you want to use, I'll speak for the OS maps because that's what I used and that's what saved my life, so to put it. So I remember here there were a few places where the road or the path got into two, and I had no idea whether to turn left or right. and the map wasn't of help. So the GPS OS map thing, that really came handy. Then just keep going. I don't remember this section. What I do remember is that my second day was a tough day, not only because I got blisters, but it was like my first, my introduction to the boggy and the moors and the tough terrain. So it was a very tough second day. I think this area by the forest was very nice, but I remember, I think it was over here. So also take a look at the map where it tells you the different colors, what it represents. Usually, if memory serves, whenever it was white, it was sort of forget about pitching your tent there. Just to say, green was my way to go, but sometimes, especially once, the green really let me down. So just keep that in mind, that not because it's green it's gonna be a lovely forest. This was the toughest part. The moment you just turn up here, walk by this thing, turn up here, and all this, that's what made my day so difficult. Here, all this part, all this white thing, if you do this route, you will probably learn to hate the white areas because it's the toughest one. Not only for navigation, but also because of the terrain and the bogies, and it just got too much. So yeah, all this thing, see how it changes the path here? That was easy, but all this in between and white, oh boy, that was really bad. It was walking on Boggylandia, as I call it, and full of mud, and the cows were like in some places it was a bit threatening because you couldn't run because of the terrain, and then the cows were there looking at you, trying to, to me it seemed that they were trying to intimidate me, but of course I had to move forward or onwards. Here, pay attention to these little dots. This means you will suffer. I think it was only once that I saw the little dots and it disappointed me, so to say. But for the most part, little dots were tough times. So don't go and say, oh, this is just 1 kilometer, that's easy. Yeah, the moment you see these little dots, it's not gonna be fast, it's gonna be very slow for the most part and tiring, so bear that in mind. So then I remember when I reached over here, I already wanted the bothy to arrive, but of course no way. So I had a long way here. Then this track or this path is full of very like super edgy, like mean stones or mini rocks, like the size of an egg. And if you're not wearing firm rigid boots, this is really gonna be hard on your feet, so remember that too. So when I finally got to the bothy here, this beehive or whatever you pronounce that, bothy, oh, I felt so relief. I made it. Boy, what a miserable day when I saw this thing. Let's say that I was expecting to see it like 2.5 hours ago. That's how miserable my freaking day has been. One good thing is there's a river, you can see it in the map, so just keep that in mind. So do not by any means carry water with you. When you get to the bothy, you refill there. So my third day, I remember having a very nice night in the bothy. I was alone, it was lovely. And so I woke up in the morning. I had still pain in my feet because of my blisters. It was tough in that regard, like really intense pain, and I hadn't the Compete plasters, so, or any other plaster for that sake, because I had never had blisters before. so I didn't inspect them. Anyway, it was a very tough day, my third day as well, but I still really had a great time crossing the forest and climbing just a little bit here over the peak. I guess most of you know, but you can see these contour lines, so that tells you that you're gonna be going up or down. You know it's up because here is the summit, so you're climbing up. And well, anyway, and so I have marks in the map because I watched some YouTube videos and some people were saying that here was some wild camping like opportunities. I didn't see it very clear here, but anyway. So yeah, it was a misty, rainy day, but I really loved it. I had a great time hiking my third day. Super windy. I love it. All this mist is lovely. And then I just came all the way here. It was pretty nice. So this was just nice. It was a bit steep, but just down and beautiful, avoiding all this mess. So it was nice, easy. Very, you could put big mileage over here. It was easy. Then here you get into trouble again with these little dots. So just keep that in mind over here. And then I pushed forward, got all this done. This was again quite painful. All this done. And then I got into this forest. It was a complete and absolute nightmare. It was pouring down big time. It was dark. And I don't know how many hours I had put. I was tired, and boy, I didn't find any place to camp in this forest. It was a nightmare, trust me. That was not 50 centimeters flat that I could find. And I walked, like I diverted my way from the path, trying to find a spot. Boy, it was a nightmare. So in the end, I found a track for cars, and I had to camp there. And yeah, so it was a terrible place to pitch. It was very hard to put down my stakes, but I managed. And eventually I had a good night of sleep, despite the rain that was pouring us so badly. If I was you, I remember further away, I could have found a nicer place over here. Still pretty hard to camp all around this area. So I would say don't count on this forest, and if you find anything better, anything that you can pitch before, just take the chance. So now my fourth day, I remember going down this road up to here, picking up the normal route, and being very happy about it because I really liked the forest. It was nice. Other than the nightmare of camping, the forest itself was very nice. So this was a beautiful part, all this. And then just come up here, and in all this section with the log, I don't know, I think it was a Sunday, so I met more people than the rest of the route, this section. So they were like, I would call it day hikers. Bear in mind that all this section is gonna be a bit hard for you to go to the toilet, because as you can see the marks on the map, it's quite steep. So either you kind of climb up or go down to do your business. You shouldn't get too close to the water. It gets a bit complicated there, so just be creative. Then here, I never got to see anything telling me where to go. I don't know, maybe I got distracted, maybe I missed the signpost, but I ended up taking this way up the mountain, and all this, man, all of it is pretty much all the way up the hill. I lost the way again. I missed a signpost if there was one, and boy, I had to go all the way up the hill. And quite steep these sections here. So yeah, you may want to try the other way or something if you have the chance to decide. And then here, when you get somewhere over here, no, it was here in this corner, you get to see the bothy, white lagan bothy. For my 5th day, started the bothy, pick up the normal line of route, walk all this, and I remember this to be very beautiful. I really enjoyed all this section. The forest and all were really pretty. And so I still had pain in my feet because of the blisters. Anyway, so all this section is very nice. This is a beautiful day. So I have marked here some camping opportunities, but I just kept going. Nothing to say, it was just tough. Everything white is usually tough, but doable and not as bad as the previous days. So I just got over here. That was nice. And I remember getting to this dark ride. Man, it was like pouring down pretty much all day, like heavily. All day raining. And when I got to around here, crossing all this, that was like quite strong winds all the time until I managed to get into town. Bear in mind, this was my first time while camping, so I was trying to cope with the whole experience. So by my 5th day, you know, I was a little bit overwhelmed because, you know, it had been raining every day, all day, some of the days like very heavily, day and night, and the wind was really strong. Especially this day, it got very strong. Up to shore. And so, yeah, it was a bit overwhelming. I look back now and I'm like, yeah, so what? It's just rain and wind. But I remember I was a bit overwhelmed. I was also tired, especially the blisters were sort of slowly eating my morale and my motivation. I never let any of that get me. When the situation becomes tougher, I'm one of these people that rises. So I enjoyed it somehow, that it was tough, that, you know, that the weather was throwing things at me. I was enjoying that. I'm totally sure some people will relate to me. Those masochist types, I guess, or mentally tough, one of the two. You can resupply here. It's not an amazing offer, but it will do it. Right in front of this mini shop, there is a pub that claims to be home for the Southern Upland way, whatever. So truth is, the kitchen was closed, so I couldn't have any hot meal. I got a coffee, so that's that. And the chimney was working, the fire, so I could warm up a bit there and keep going. The kitchen was opening at 6, so no way for me. And so when I came out the pub, it was pouring down big time again. And I remember at 5, it was already sunset. So by the time I got here, it was pretty dark. And so I started to look for a pitching spot. I had marked this area as a good place to camp. It was really great, flat with grass. It was perfect, except for the rain. So probably had been pouring down for the past month and a half. So it was a flood here. It was horrible, and that's the only place I could camp anyway. So I just camped here, and it was super damp, everything, and it wasn't the best night. And that's why I got up so early, The moment I had a bit of a window without rain, I just packed everything soaking wet and carried on. Hey, this is me, here the light. Wow, the weather sucks so bad. I got up early because the weather sucked real bad, and I had this window without rain, so I decided to pack the tent at 4 AM, get the gear ready and all. At 5 AM I was already on my way. Anyway, so what's my bearing? Ready in the shed. And it was very nice because I was hiking at night and it was completely pitch black, so I enjoyed it. And just came all this way. It was quite tough, the beginning of my 6th day. This was all difficult terrain, difficult to go through it, at times difficult to navigate as well. Yeah, so not so much to say other than that it was tough. The only thing to say is that, except for this section here and a bit over there, it was just difficult and tough. So this is gonna be a long day as well. I think by the time I was around here, I started to be a bit tired. So I was enjoying it, it was nice, but a bit tough. Crossing this was also tough, this part. And then scoring here. Now I remember coming here, this is pretty steep for a while, so I would recommend you taking a break somewhere over here so that you get here like nice and warm, your body being warm and ready to climb up. For your morale, I wouldn't take a break here when you have to go and climb the whole thing. I will do it after, but you know, that's very personal. So luckily I had stopped somewhere before to either make coffee, I don't remember. So when I got here, I was somehow fresh. So as I got to the summit, out of the blue, I mean, it had been raining, it had been windy, but when I was at the summit, it started to rain and had like a windstorm. Crazy, trust me, I've never seen anything like it. I was being blown away by the wind, and that had never happened to me this way. So I remember thinking, boy, this is why people fear Scottish weather. I mean, it makes sense. It was like really wild. So I got quite scared and disoriented. There was very little visibility, and so my GPS wouldn't work in the phone because it got so wet that it would just go crazy every time I tried to switch it on. It's a Samsung Galaxy S8. It worked flawlessly, but this day, just because of so much rain falling, no matter the position, no matter how I would try to put the phone, it just wouldn't work. So, and I got scared and everything, and so I managed to find my way out of here with a compass, luckily. But I was quite scared, so I just went on the hill, and then crossing all these, there started to be snow, and I had to post hole. There was snow down to my knees at times, not all of it. Some of the, like most of the path was free of snow, but then at times you would find like sections. With snow that you had to post hole, like past my knees a bit in some areas. It was really, really intense. So by the time I got here, I was really happy because I felt safer by the forest. But I still was a bit scared. All this section I did it being pretty scared. So anyway, just crossing this, all this was pretty straightforward. I know it seems like you're zigzagging and you're gonna miss your way, but actually it was pretty easy to follow. So that was very nice in that regard, because remember my GPS wasn't working. And yeah, so at some point, probably here where you see the different road. So you get to a road that you can drive in. So I remember feeling a bit of relief when I saw the road, because it's like road civilization, so you feel safer. And yeah, I finally got to the Chalk Memorial Bothy, and it meant all to me. I'm so thankful for the people taking care of that bothy. It really meant everything to me, because I was totally overwhelmed. Oh my God. You guys don't know what this means to me. This is heaven. This is like, I have a shelter for tonight, a real shelter. I know it sounds stupid. Oh, so you were scared of the rain and the wind. You get yourself over here and walk all this in the conditions I did. If you're not used to it, then you tell me why I got scared. So for those that are probably Scottish, or those that are used to hiking Scotland and they have experienced like bad Scottish weather conditions, probably those can relate to me better. So I got to the bothy. There is a water source there, so you can resupply, and that's lovely there. So I was alone again, and it was fantastic. My 8th day started on the bothy, obviously, and I remember this day, it was all super wet everywhere. Like for the most part, all the trail had been super wet. This day it was all puddles, like massive, and it had been like that pretty much all the time anyway. But for some reason I remember because it was right at the start of the day, crossing a little bridge with water already, and then everything super wet. Just walk out the bothy, Chalk Memorial I think was called. So it seems like I'm getting my feet wet right away. I remember the ground for some reason felt more consistent, and I had these lamps giving me some moral support, walking alongside me. Stalking me! You think you're going to intimidate me? Be careful, I have a tactical knife, a keyboard. You don't want it to pull it out, make a jersey out of you. You've been warned. So that was nice from them. So I don't have to tell you all this thing. It was low, but I remember it as easier to walk, all this section. Certainly slow, and I don't even remember it was so... I didn't find this tricky for my navigation, but in some YouTube videos someone said take your bearings, it's tricky, so I just wrote it down here just in case. But I don't remember a trick or anything. Just like, don't expect to have a perfect trail here, because there wasn't. There were actually multiple ways. I don't know why, but you had to choose anyway. But it was okay, and I enjoyed it. Again, you feel pretty lost in the middle of nowhere, but it was very, very nice. It was pretty, just beautiful moorland. I enjoyed it. And then I got to Sankar, and here is where I spent my first night in a hotel, this Nithsdale hotel. They really took care of me, and I had a lovely time there. Alright, it's like 6 AM and we're ready to rock. This is the hotel where I spent last night to recover. I can't even tell you how good I've been treated. Susie, so she's an employee. She's just the best. She took care of me in such a way. She was the best in the hotel. And you can resupply here. The offer is pretty decent, so you'll likely find most of what you need. So here, my 8th day, it was everything covered up by snow. So the moment I left this main road in Sankar and got up here, just make sure there's a sign on the right hand of the road that points you away from the road. So it's very easy to miss. I actually took the road before that, and so I had to go up and down, so it killed me. First thing in the morning, get lost. All this was already all snow up, as you can see in the video. And then, so I just got here, And I remember all this section here. So imagine everything is snow up. So but all this section here, it was quite difficult to navigate. I don't know why, or perhaps it was all this over here. It was quite difficult. Like I got lost somewhere. I had to go down a down the hill. It was quite steep. I think it's because of the snow so there was no path, no marks. There was nothing, and I found it quite challenging. Guys, look. There's a signpost there. I don't know if you get to see it. It's freaking there, and that's it. So then the terrain is boggy. Well, you see it, right? So I didn't want to complain about this again, but some people would get lost here very easily. Then just got all this thing. There was quite a bit of snow all over. It was going up the hill somewhere. Don't remember, probably all this. And seriously, you really feel like you're in the middle of nowhere over here and over here. And I remember when I got here and picked up this sort of road, Jesus, I felt relief. I felt sort of sad because I had left such a beautiful mountain scenario behind. I really loved it, but I was so tired because seriously, with the snow, it really puts a toll on your pace. So when I got here, I thought of wild camping here. Seriously, that was a place that you could wild camp, and I thought of staying there. So I kept going, and I think I made 4 hours and a half. So this is our road. So there's a piece of cake. Once you get here, you just walk nice and easy to One Lock Head. So here, I was so tired. Go to One Lock Head, and I call it a day. Why? Because in the One Lock Head Inn, there's these spots for £25 the night, and boy, it's a no-brainer. And I had my fish and chips. I think I had it twice, and I met some guys there, very interesting people, really nice people around here in One Lock Head. So had a great time here, took my rest. In retrospect, I can see I could have pushed it, but you know, truth is the next section is quite demanding too. So I think this is an awesome stop, and if I were to do this again, I think I would take it because I had a really nice day talking to the people that was there. It was really nice, so it was lovely. My next day started here, and everything was snow up and icy. I was about to fall first thing in the morning on the road here because it was quite icy and like super challenging. So if you don't go in sort of winterish, you'll be all right, but just bear that in mind. And just get out, and so we're here now. So you get to this louder hill. I got lost somewhere and I missed, I don't know, here somewhere. So bear in mind that it was super cloudy. There was no visibility. I could see no ridges at all. So I couldn't see the radar station, nothing. So here somewhere I didn't take the turn. So the thing is, I ended up going somewhere down here with this little sort of, I think it was here where I went to this pond. And so I had to cross all this, which is half a kilometer or more. I was all the way up the hill and a horrible terrain, trust me. And that made me pretty exhausted. I was tired in the morning when I got up. I guess I was fatigued. But when I got up, when I got to this point, I was pretty exhausted. And I still had to climb all the way. Everything covered up by snow, ankle deep at least, up to this radar station thing. When I got here, it got real bad. Like I had very little visibility. And once I passed it, I started looking back, and then I could see better. And visibility was a lot better, but everything was now up all the way. Now, when you just get down here, all these, there were sections that the snow was really deep, and I was hauling down the hill. There was snow past my knees in all this section. And then I remember, I think it was down here somewhere. I remember, or perhaps, I don't remember what it was, whether here or here. And I remember, oh, please don't send me there, because I could see the mountain ahead and I had to go up, and I was, oh, please. And yes, of course you go up. And I think it was here, some of this is like quite steep, almost crumbling up the hill. So it was a demanding, everything snow up, and sometimes going down the hill it was icy, and I was really, you know, not afraid, but you know, I was just thinking, man, if I fall, it's not gonna look nice. So anyway, then you really feel on all this section that you're in the middle of literally nowhere. Now, out of the blue, you just look ahead somewhere up here, and you get to see this road, and you're like, what the? Now you're in civilization again, and it's just like, man. So I was in the middle of nowhere, and out of the blue, I'm back here in the world. Then you cross here, and this section is very beautiful, and you can walk camp here. It's very nice. And I got some water from this river, it was the best. It was lovely. So here you can walk camp very nicely. It's very nice. So all this path, and I remember I started having the sun sort of on and off in this section. There's nothing special here, but got again a bit of sunshine, because earlier on it just lasted 1 minute. For maybe lasting 5 minutes, and then it would be cloudy again. But it was lovely. Because I remember as I was going down here, I saw the sun for the first time, and after all these days super hostile, oh, it meant everything to me. I loved it. So now when I see the sun, it will last maybe, I don't know, if I'm lucky, 5 minutes. Oh, it means so much to you. You can't imagine. So anyway, so I was down here, and somewhere over here, there's this place that tells you, there's a signpost that tells you that you managed to do half the route. So I was very happy. And I had a coffee break a little bit further up, somewhere over here. And so I really enjoyed that coffee break, just lying down, chilling out. I'm pretty tired, and so I decided to make coffee, and I'm just loving it. It was lovely. So then you pass this. I didn't find this beautiful, but yeah, anyway, just passed it. This was a climb that, you know, after the entire day, I was a bit tired. So I remember when I went to the top, I was feeling like pretty much wasted, but I knew that the bothy was just around the corner. So I just come a bit down the hill, then up the hill again, and then you get into this forest. All this is down the hill. For some reason I particularly loved this forest. It was very nice. So you just go down the hill, cruising, like going down the forest, and so you had to take a bit of a detour into the bothy. So you go a little bit up the hill. So this bothy, just avoid it if it's weekend, because some people just drive. You see this truck, they just drive here, then walk down. It's little 5 minutes like or less. And so, you know, if you're tired after walking all day or all these days, and you get to the bothy to rest, and then you have people that want to get drunk and all, this is not exactly what you want, you know. If that's the case, then just keep going. And so somewhere, like all over here, you'll find this a bit down the hill, but at some point you get to see some wild camp places. Like here, I had them marked in the map, and you can wild camp there. This is nice. I like this section. Before the bothy in this area, the trees have been taken down, and it looks a bit apocalyptic. Other than that, it's very nice. I loved it. After the bothy, I was a bit tired. My original plan was to get to this bothy here, which I recommend. I could have pushed it, no doubt, but I just thought, you know, I'm just gonna take it easy and enjoy the route, because I will never be back to Moffat, for example. So I took it as an opportunity also to get to see this place and hang out and enjoy myself. And yeah, I had a great day here. I ate everything I could find and I had a great time. The next day, I had to walk 45 minutes to pick up the route. No big deal. So I don't remember. I think what I did is I just climbed this up, follow this road, and then yeah, that's what I did. I remember this part. So yeah, from Moffat, just come up, follow all this road down here, and then pick up the normal line of route. So basically I skipped this section because I came here, then walk on the road, and then like this. So yeah, this was a nice day, I remember. Because this forest was beautiful. I enjoyed going through here. It was beautiful. There's some places here where you can wall camp, I remember. That was nice. Then just kept going. I enjoyed everything. This part was alright too. It wasn't too bad. And it's getting here. I think somewhere over here is where it says you reach Scottish borders. And the route becomes better in general. I also have to say I had some sunny days, not all day, every day it rained, but I guess since I had the sun up for a while, then some of the muddy sections became a bit more solid, so that helped. But I would still say, I had someone telling me on Facebook that the further east you get, the better the terrain becomes, like more consistent, more grass, and I had to agree with that. So anyway, I just walked, got to this bothy. It was a Sunday morning, and I think it was Sunday, yes. I could have stayed here. There was no one when I arrived, and I just decided to carry on because I was feeling good. So today is Sunday, and I'm at this bothy. I have 17 kilometers to the St. Loch, whatever, you know, St. Mary's Loch or something. Anyway. So I just decided it's not raining, I feel strong, and so I'm just gonna carry on. Just kept going. For the most part here, it's a road, so you can cruise through literally. And I went really fast all this section. I remember here, you can see the little dots. There were some houses here. And I remember I went to one house to ask for water or something. And I remember asked the woman if she would sell me a piece of bread. She gave me a roll and she put some butter to it, and for some reason made my day because I was really craving for bread so bad. So yeah, she was nice and friendly, so lovely there. And so I just kept going up, just kept going. The terrain was like fine. You just go up and down thing, but it was fine, nothing. Despite, you know, you can see here the terrain is good, like the path that is supposed to be bad terrain, but there's a path, so you're good to go. And somewhere here probably, or here, I met a group of cows right on the middle of the path. Jesus, I just got the cows there, right on the freaking middle. There was no way for me to go anywhere because there is like a U-turn, and they were right in the goddamn middle. Oh man. And there was no other way to go around them or anything, so I just had to push through. And luckily they looked at me a bit weird. One or two moved away a little bit, and most of them stood their ground there looking at me in a sort of menacing way, but didn't allow them to get me intimidated. Obviously in these situations you want to unfasten the straps of your backpack, and I had an exit route in case. Just drop the backpack and go down. In this case was a bit of a cliff down, but anyway, so just go here, somewhere over here you can see the lake, so that gives you morale. Now when I got down here to the lake, I was unfortunate enough that across the lake, on the other side of the lake, there was like a party, and there were like 4 or 5 cars and an RV, motorhome, and they were playing this music with this low bass, the boom 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 style of music, like super loud. It took me crossing more than half the lake to get rid of this horrible bass thing. I mean, I may enjoy some of this music sometimes at home, but I absolutely don't enjoy it when I've put more than 30 kilometers and all I want is to sleep. And so here I could have camped at the beginning of the lake. Over here is pretty hard. So if you want to camp on this lake or loch, since mine is loch, do it here at the beginning or as you get to the lake or to the loch. So anyway, when I remember crossing this part, I stopped here in the base and I was like, seriously, you can then hear the road over here, but it's not a big deal, you know. And here in this yellow thing, there were some parts where I think it was on this side that I could have camped. But I had watched a YouTube video and someone was saying that there's some wild camping places here, so I kept going. By the time I got here, I put 40 kilometers that day, so it was a long day. And yeah, I ended up wild camping here, and it was humid, but it was nice. I've camped here after, I think I've actually walked more than 9 hours. Next day, I remember starting being like really muddy and just seriously not nice. So I had a disgusting beginning of the day. It's not a nice start of the day. Terrain was difficult as it shows here in the map with these little dots, all these. It was super boggy, muddy, really not nice. And there's this tower here, famous. Anyway, that's a freaking tower. Then crossing all these, just really not nice. I remember that day was nice. There's the forest, that was alright. So then you just come up here. And so I remember walking this and it was easy obviously because of the paved road, but I was tired. And here before Tracker, I don't know how to pronounce that, I met with these 2 trail runners and the wife of one of them, and that really boosted my morale. I really enjoyed that time. They offered me everything they had, you know, we're having some rolls, I don't remember, some coffee, or whatever they were having, they just offered it to me. Then the wife of one of them, she drove me to this Inner Lighten or something, and I resupplied, and it's really nice, and I would say it's worth it walking there to the Inner Lighten and just getting your nice whatever you want to have. Then I walked back to Tracker, and I remember from here it's pretty hard to find a water source, so have some water when you get whatever you can, because in this section it's like a thirsty section, and you know that's in March, so I don't want to tell you, I don't know, in July or August. And so here it's just all the way up the hill, all the way, and it's like it never ends. So at some point it does end, and then you start going somewhere over here, so I'm going down the hill a little bit. So a wild camp here, it was perfect because there's this here, there's a lot of trees, so the wind was blowing north, and so I was like very well protected with all the trees. And trust me, that night, geez, it was like a crazy hurricane wind going on. Almost in the middle of the path, I would say it's well enough away. Next day started over here, crossing this. This was nice and easy. I know it's wide and you should be wary of wide, but no, that was good terrain, crossing all the thing. And here you can welcome to. Just going here, nothing to say. I remember getting here to Galashiels and I just loved it, because you can get to see Galashiels from far. In a way it's good because you know it's there, but then you know it's gonna take you 2.5 hours or 2 hours. So you know, it's a bit you know, if you're feeling tired and you know you still have to walk that much. All this here is easy, it's nice. It's a bit, over here it's a bit like you will doubt which way to take a little bit. And the thing is, if you're tired, you just want to sit down, have a coffee, you know, you wish you could just like cruise through without having to worry where you're going. But anyway, no big deal. I met a Scottish guy with his bicycle here, really, really nice guy. So we had a nice chatting here, then I kept going. So I ended up going to this, was it a Nero Cafe or something? It was a cafe, and I had a coffee there and an egg roll, sausage and egg roll, and it was great. There was this employee, this girl, she was so nice. She was asking me, so what are you doing and all, and she was really nice. And no, it was a Costa Cafe, yeah. So then you can resupply, you can buy anything, and there's a Tesco, a big one, so it's very close to this Costa, so you can resupply there as I did. And then, yeah, this was where I screwed it up. So you need to go from here to Melrose. So I had pain on my feet because I had a stress fracture on my right foot, and I wasn't 100% sure if it was here or not, so it was giving me some pain too, but so I didn't want to walk more on pavement, and so I decided to take a taxi from here to here and avoid walking on the hard surface. But instead, I told the driver to get me to Loda. So I ended up sleeping here somewhere by this river, somewhere over here, I think. And so the next morning I took a taxi back to Melrose, and then yeah, I picked up the normal line of route, just came this way. You can resupply in Melrose. Okay, we just resupply here at Melrose. Got my coffee, of course, and then talk to some people. So Melrose is nice, you can resupply, blah blah blah. Get out of Melrose, for the most part it's up the hill, but it's easy, and it's easy. All the way at the hill, and all this, it's just really not demanding anymore. It's just because you may have some fatigue accumulated because it's up the hill for the most part, but then it gets flat and it's nice, and there's some places where you can well camp if you want. If you're walking off over here, if you need to camp somewhere over here, you find places for sure. Just keep going, and then I made it to Loda. So yeah, I just went up here, and I think I ended up wild camping here in this mini forest, and literally, yeah, it was here. So that's a fence here, and it's half the way broken, so I just climbed in there. Look, let's see if you can see this entrance on the wall. Yeah. Oh, by the way, just make sure you have your water too, because no water supplies here, and this is like really, I thought of walking down here. This is not accessible, you cannot cross through this. And otherwise, I think my next water supply I had in mind was here, but I turned around half the way, so I managed to go here, and there were a few puddles, and that's where I got my water. I wasn't going to walk past that tree line and double this distance to get water. It's getting dark. I just grabbed the freaking water from here, from these puddles. I will boil the hell out of it and wish for the best. My initial plan was to keep going, but I saw the forest. It was late enough, it was sunset time, so I thought, you know what, I'm just staying here in the forest because I really like it here. So my next day, I had a fantastic morning. The sun was right on my tent. As I opened the door, it was great. Well, this is how my penultimate day starts. That's the sun up there. So just cross through, go to my normal line of route, and so yeah, there was this water here, and I don't remember exactly, but either here or here, I think it's a fantastic place for wild camp. I think it was here actually, because there's a little bridge, and I remember there was a bridge, so I think it's here. There. So the only problem is condensation. So if you come higher up where I did, it's better for condensation than if you do there. But this was really flat and nice and beautiful. Then I just kept going. All this is one of these sections where you feel you're really lost somewhere, and just kept going, and it was all nice and easy. And then you can wall camp somewhere on this section. If you really have to, you find places to wall camp. I know I have here no wall camp, but I actually thought I could have done it if I had to. So I stopped somewhere here, I think, for coffee, and I loved it. I had a great time. I did this break, noodle break and coffee. And these are the moments that I was looking for the most when I was in London before coming here. I think it was over here actually, and I could see this. I don't remember, but yeah, it was nice. I just kept going, made it to Longford Makers, and boy, as you know, what a disappointment. There's nothing there. This Longford Makers has been incredibly unsuccessful. There is absolutely nothing here. From Longford Makers, I just passed it, and I think I'll camp here somewhere in this. Yeah, because I remember you go up the hill, so I remember planning to camp, so I literally camp here, because it's the top, so it was flat. I camped there in the forest, and yeah, I had a great night. Next day was my final day. It was pretty straightforward. It was sunny, and so the terrain, it was super muddy, but thank God it was more firm because there was no rain. It rained in the early morning, but for like an hour, and then it dried off quickly for some reason, so that was all right. And then there's nothing to say really. So if you absolutely have to, you will find places to wall camp, and like along the way. Sooner or later, if you really have to, you make it happen, just to say. And then here, I remember here. This was ugly, this section by the road, which is like plain ugly. And then you get to this forest, and all this here, I remember it was very tricky without the GPS. I'm not too sure where if I wouldn't still be there, like trying to find my way. And I also remember thinking that all these sections seem to me to be so unnecessarily twisted, but maybe there's a need for it. It really looked like you could just pick one of these tracks or these paths and just make it straight without some headache that I had. Like, there were a few times in this section where I wasn't really sure if I was following the right path, because there were no signposts. Finally, you just get here, start going down the hill, and you see the sea somewhere over here for the first time, and then you just go down, and here at this place I really didn't want to turn left, but no, because you get to the campsite and you can resupply. There's a shop there, and people are nice and friendly, very nice, but you actually have to come back here and walk this, and then you have to go around this, which, you know, in hindsight, I think I should have just walked this road, because I was pretty tired when I was here, and I still have to go around these cliffs. And yes, there's beautiful views other than this monstrosity over here. But yeah, and then just walk around this. It's beautiful, it's nice. Imagine all this, the tour that you're doing, when you can just like cruise through like this. But anyway, I did all this, took my videos, blah blah blah. All this is a bit weird to navigate. So yeah, we made it to Coburn's Path, and yeah, but that's just like the beginning of the end, because then you need to get yourself out of Coburn's Path. There's nothing to have here. There's not even a bottle of water that you can buy, so bear that in mind. Well, I hope you found the video helpful. If you did, please destroy the like button so that I get motivated for the next one. If you have any comments, please write it down in the comment section down below. And well, see you on the trail. Bye.